completely. I thought he had the takedown, and it's tough mentally to try to overcome something like that. But you go back to Jamar Billman at 140 pounds. He got a takedown just like that, 2 seconds left, and so those things are. And I'm not saying they're good or bad officiating calls, but those things mentally they've evened out now at 1-1. But obviously that's a huge swing in terms of setting up how these last three bouts go.
And 171 pounds, we have Cael Sanderson from Heber City, Utah, in the red, and he's already scored offensively a 2-point takedown. His opponent, Joe Dougherty, has scored a 1-point escape, and Joe is now in low on a single leg. Sanderson come out right off the whistle and scored a 2-point takedown. Sanderson trying an offensive move, really trying to pull him back over top. Dougherty countering. I'm not sure what the name of that move is called.
Well, it was kind of a counter that, Dougherty already had too good a position to. And there's Peterson. It's a reversal for Sanderson. Probably won't get back points out of it unless he can drag that right arm. But Sanderson, as we've talked about, the third Sanderson brother in 3 years to represent the United States team in the Classic, and he'll be the third Sanderson brother to take a wrestling scholarship at Iowa State. Cody, who wrestled 2 years ago here, Cole, who wrestled last year here, and here's Cael, the third Sanderson brother in a row, and I guess only one other family can say that, with three brothers in competing on this historic night.
So hats off to the Sanderson family, and the score's tied here, 4-4, with 22 seconds remaining.
We are, of course, talking about the Nellis brothers, of which my colleague is one.
And we go back a few years. So Cody Sanderson, he suffered a defeat to North Hills representative Teague Moore from North Allegheny in Classic 21, and Cole was victorious over Rob Wakel from Belafonte by the score of 11-9 in Classic 12. And I believe they are coached by their father.
That's correct, and Steve has announced that he'll retire from his coaching position after this year, and he'll be kicking himself upstairs into administration. It'll be interesting to see where he lands.
So the first period ends. The score's tied, 4-4. Dougherty, after giving up a quick 2-point takedown, bought his way back with a 1-point escape and his own takedown. Starts the second period on top, and jumps the whistle, gets a caution called against him. Sanderson off the whistle, gets his arm trapped, uses a little bit of leg leverage to move his hips. Dougherty with cross arm, and I think that's between the legs from this position here. Dougherty got a lot of weight on him, controlling him, shooting a half, trying to get some pressure up on his head. Sanderson getting some motion out under bottom, sitting and switching a little bit. Just basically does a high leg over, gets his hips high, and gets a 1-point escape.
Almost a reversal, but he'll settle for the escape, and he'll go back and work on his feet now. Sanderson, probably the most athletic of the three Sanderson brothers. You can see from watching what kind of leverage he's got, and probably not only... so we saw that takedown right at the beginning, and here you have the front headlock, and he's trying to pick the ankle, but he's got to watch it against Dougherty. Dougherty, you can see, has a great upper body, and he's not going to allow Cael Sanderson to outhorse him, which is what Cael's been trying to do.
Cael, although he's the youngest of the three brothers, is definitely the biggest of the three, with Cody wrestling here at 119 pounds and Cole wrestling at 140. We're in the 171-pound bout. So we're winding down in the second period. There's 30 seconds remaining. The motion has slowed down a little bit. Dougherty dropping to his knees. Sanderson charging him, working that double arm. Both wrestlers break away. was a wide open shot, just a little bit of head tap. Dougherty takes, gets in deep. Sanderson starting to fight him off. And maybe that was because he knew it was at the closing of the second period, so his reactions were a little slow. It was surprising to see him get in so deep.
Yeah, it really was a great shot, and perhaps with a little more time left in the period, might have been able to finish. But you could see what kind of experience Sanderson has had. He really fought that off rather easily, even though he really didn't have a lot of time that he had to fight it.
Joe Dougherty starting the third period on bottom. Sanderson riding on the right-hand side, got a lot of pressure. Looks like he's trying to control wrist down there. Changing off to a near cradle. And he's starting to work it. And Sanderson turns him over, and he's got good position. His hips are over top of his head. He's smothering him a bit, and Dougherty's in a bind. This would prove disastrous for the Pennsylvania team if Cael Sanderson pulls out a fall here.
It doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it, and now Dougherty able to get back to his knees, although Sanderson not finished yet.
Sanderson continuing to work that cradle. Stretching him out. The referee checking for the fall. There's 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining, and that's it. Our second fall of the night, and that comes from Cael Sanderson at 171 pounds, and he just jumps the USA lead to the score of 29-15. So that puts the nails in the coffin for the Pennsylvania team. The USA team is going to win their 5th victory in 6 years as we move into a 189-pound bout. Our